Spirit of life, be with us in this time of prayer. Help us to feel the rhythm of our own breathing, to quiet the chatter in our heads, to feel at home in our bodies. Help us to feel grounded and centered, to embrace the stillness. Comfort us in our sadness, accompany us in our joy, hold us in our unknowing. Spirit of life, be with us when we leave this sanctuary. Help us to carry with us the strength of connectedness, the warmth of companionship, the energy of community. Enfold us in a sense of spirit. Move with us in grace. Soothe us in our wounded places. Forgive us our missteps. Spirit of life, we ask this of you, knowing that we are your hands in this world, and that the answer to this prayer comes when we begin to do all this for and with each other. Amen. So I don't see many kids out there, but I see a lot of people who are young at heart. And last week we practiced reclaiming our childhood summer day, so get there. And I'm going to read you a story. This was one of my favorites when I was little. It's by Judith Viorst, and it's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my cereal box, all I found was cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. But no one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. After school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to get in the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy, and then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and for fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, "We're all sold out." They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot, I got soap in my eyes, my marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, even in Australia. So, one of my very favorite things to do while I'm cooking dinner or driving or just relaxing is to listen to the Moth Story Hour on the radio. Anyone else? The Moth is a live story slam event that is held all across the country, and the best stories are put on the radio. The rules of the Moth are that the stories have to be 5 minutes or less. They must be true, or at least true as remembered by the storyteller. And they must be told without notes. Here on the Outer Cape, I have been enjoying going to the Mosquito Story Slam events this summer. Similar idea. So I've heard hundreds of these great personal stories, but there are a few that have just really stuck with me. And today I want to share with you a story told by Jeff Zimmerman of New York City that I heard a few years ago and have never forgotten. Although Jeff's story is set in New York City, it kind of reminds me of Provincetown. Particularly, it reminds me of Provincetown at the end of August. In my final year of high school, just before graduation, when we were reaching the end of the year and classes were still going, but we had all already made plans for work or college, and that last report card didn't really seem to matter all that much, the teachers told us about a phenomenon that they see every year called senioritis. And senioritis is the inability to concentrate on your studies because your mind is already on to the next thing and you couldn't care less. And there's a similar term that we use here in Provincetown at the end of the summer, and that is Augustitis. Augustitis is loosely defined as a mood disorder found predominantly in local residents of tourist destinations at the end of a long and hectic summer season. Visitors, you might see signs of Augustitis when the counter help snaps at you because you are next in line but you aren't paying attention and you take a second too long to get up to the counter. Or you might notice short-tempered locals pushing to get around the crowds at the grocery store, or making uncharacteristically risky moves in the car because they have been waiting to take a left turn onto Route 6 for 20 minutes. We might be less apt to take time to give you good directions to the best lobster roll in town, or to take your family's photo with the harbor in the background. Can you take it again? Just one more. In June, we were happy to do that. Now we're short with you and with each other. Tempers flare, kindness and patience and understanding are in short supply. And we are all a little bit frayed around the edges. It's like the whole town is collectively having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. We see this every summer. I swear it came a little early this year. But we are lucky. It is almost September. We all relax a little in September. The crowds disperse, the prices go back down, the left turns get a little bit easier, and we find our centers again. In New York City, though, Augustitis isn't just an end of summer phenomenon, it's year-round. Here is Jeff's story from The Moth. I'm getting on the subway. I've got 2 bags of groceries. It's raining. The bottom of these paper bags are wet. I need these groceries very badly. I'm a little nervous. Nervous because I need these groceries badly, but also because the groceries are from Whole Foods. So, how am I going to pay my rent? And I'm going through what I like to refer to as a surprise divorce. And I just need some grace and patience from the world right now. I am broken glass on the inside. And when I need grace and patience from the world, what I do when I know I'm not going to get it is I like to straddle a garbage can and take a pint of Ben & Jerry's and work the spoon down into the chocolate core of the Ben & Jerry's. And you can pull the whole thing out in a move that I like to call the sad King Arthur. And then you can just eat it all, and you don't really get any grace or patience or understanding, but you can go to sleep, and I need that too. So the bags are straining, and I'm getting onto the train, and it's crowded. And right as I'm reaching for the pole, this dude grabs my shoulder like I'm a door that's gotten stuck, and he just shoves me out of the way. And the bags rip, and all my groceries, including my surrogate feelings, are just pinballing among everyone's dirty feet down the subway car. So I'm leaning over to pick up my groceries, and I've got a messenger bag on me, and it's coming up behind me like this, and I think it was touching the lady behind me a little bit because I just hear, that didn't work off. And I look back, and I shrug, and then I go down to get my groceries again, and I hear it again, and I know it was her because I hear a voice say, "I said." And I turn and I look, and there's this woman standing there holding the pole, and she's looking at me and rolling her eyes. And I know what she's seeing because I know what I look like. All right, I'm 6'2", and it doesn't matter if I eat that Ben & Jerry's or not, I'm a fight heavyweight. I tried on a cardigan one time and it looked really stupid, so now I go with heavy metal t-shirts. So I kind of look like the social media guy for the Hells Angels. And she's just seeing this big oaf who doesn't care about anything but himself. And I just know I'm not going to get that patience. So I just went there in my head and decided I'm not going to get it and said, oh, is my bag touching your arm like a tiny bit and like moderately inconveniencing you on the train right now? Is that why we're making these noises? And she answered my question by looking the subway ad in the eye and questioning my parenting. She said, some people weren't raised to respect anybody around them. They don't understand space or who's in it or who they're shoving or anything at all. And right then, this little guy who saw the whole thing jumps up and says, "You need to shut up, lady. You don't know the challenges he's facing in his life right now. You're crying about a bag touching you on the arm. He's got $1,400 worth of soup cans and Ben & Jerry's rolling up and down the F train. You need to step back, get some perspective, see your place in this world, and then shut up. Am I wrong? And I'm just standing there, adrenaline dripping. And on the inside, I was like, oh, I would have phrased that so differently. But on the outside, I was like, yeah, that's basically how it went down. And she goes, oh, well, I see. Well, I happen to have several extra bags here. Would you like them? And she was just so empathetic and understanding in such a hateful way. And I was like, yeah, super, I'll take your stupid bags. And she takes them out and we're just cramming my groceries in her bags, making eye contact the whole time like this. And she's like, take several extra, they're thin. I would hate for this to happen all over again later. And I was like, yeah, great lady, I appreciate that. And we're just standing there for several stops, just hating each other with our breath. But on the inside, thanking each other. And then, ding, and she stands up and just looks at me and says, have a blessed day, baby, and gets off the train. And the one person who understands me in this world, I never see again. And that's why I hate this city, but I could never leave it. Because there are so many beautiful, beautiful blessings to be found in this town if you just scrape the patina of sheer rage off of everybody and just look underneath. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff Zimmerman. I love that story. Love it. And you can probably guess my favorite line from the story. Well, my second favorite is, I call it the sad King Arthur. But my favorite is, that's why I hate this city, but I could never leave, because there are so many beautiful, beautiful blessings to be found in this town if you just scrape the patina of sheer rage off of everybody and just look underneath. And that is our task, friends, for the rest of the summer, to scrape the patina of rage off of each other long enough to look underneath, to see the beauty, the incredible beauty that rests there. So many blessings, so many dear, dear hearts, so many precious kindred spirits, just camouflaged a little by their summer edginess, their weariness, their lack of space, their desire, though they don't even know it, for a little TLC, a little tender, loving care. And our job is to look underneath, to see that desire, to show that tenderness, to give that blessing of kindness and understanding when it's most needed. Because we don't know the challenges anyone is facing in their life right now. And they might just need a little grace or patience or understanding from the world. And that might make all the difference to their broken glass hearts. And that is really what I have in mind for us today, this afternoon. After today's service, after a few minutes for coffee hour, a group of us is going to go outside on our front lawn and offer free singing blessings to those who will accept them. And I hope you'll join us in singing. Doesn't matter if you consider yourself a singer or not. These frazzled, crazed, anxious hearts will get to choose if they want a blessing of peace, healing, comfort, inspiration, grounding, or belonging. And then they will sit in the healing chair under the tent and be bathed in song. So we already mentioned that the songs will be singing afterwards on the lawn. You've already heard in worship this morning, so you know them. They are our love offerings to the community, anyone who wants it. And I'll tell you a little secret. The blessing we give them will pour over them and sink into them and into their souls like a balm. And those singing blessings will also seep out of that tent and into the ears of the people walking by. And even if they don't stop to be blessed, they're going to get a little amused half smile on their face as they pass by. And we won't be able to see it, but inside their broken glass hearts are also going to melt a little bit. And the next person they see, they're going to smile at, or let cross in front of them, or give directions to for the best lobster roll in town. And it's going to be like a ripple effect throughout the town. An invitation to feel connected to what is really on their heart and to each other and to this magical place, and most of all to a sense of peace. My friend and colleague, Reverend Angela Herrera, writes, "Consider this an invitation. You, yes you, with all of your happiness and all your burdens, your hopes and regrets. An invitation if you feel good today, an invitation if you do not, if you are aching, and there are so many ways to ache. Whoever you are, however you are, wherever you are on your journey, this is an invitation into peace. Peace in your heart, and peace in your heart, and with every breath, peace in your heart. Maybe your heart is heavy or hardened. Maybe it's troubled, and peace can take up residence only in a small corner, only on the edge, with all that is going on in the world and in your life. Ni modo. It doesn't matter. All that you need for a deep and comforting peace to grow lies within you. Once it is in your heart, let it spread into your life. Let it pour from your life into the world. And once it is in the world, let it shine upon all beings. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.